Morning and welcome. My name is Michele Jutrisa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up here in New South Wales, Australia. Now, as per usual on a Saturday morning, I'm running a little bit behind time. You know, time goes really quick when you're waiting for it to happen. Last time I looked at the clock, it was only 9:30 and now here we are at 10:30 already. Sorry, I'm a bit higher up on the screen. I can't work this out. 1 minute I'm down low, the next minute I'm up high. But anyway, please jump on, say hello, let us know that you're here and watching. I have just been playing around trying to get this layout ready, and I have got things cut everywhere and I don't want to lose them all. Let me flip my camera down so I can show you what we're doing. Okay, so just going to move a little bit of this out of the road. As normal, I'm working with lots of stuff around me. Hello, Annette. How are you? Hello, Deborah. Great to have you on here. Okay, as you can see, I'm playing with, I'm trying this out. I have been trying to find a title for this page, and I've gone down to the point of having to make it myself. So let me just pop all these out because I thought while I'm cutting out the alphabet, I might as well cut out the numbers 2 on this piece of cardstock. So let me finish popping these out and then we can pull out the letters that we need. There's one of them we need, and there's another one that we need. And there's another one. Don't need that one. And we've still got one more in here to find. So I'm going to pop all of these over there. And I'm looking for that one that's got slightly bent. I'm looking for the word love. Okay, let me take all of these and pop them somewhere sort of safe. I have been playing around with titles and they're too big. As I keep saying every week, when you're working on such a small page, I'm going to pop those to one side because we don't need those right now. Pop all those in there so I don't lose them. That'd be the worst thing after this morning. Okay, when you're working on a small page, you don't need a huge amount to put on it. So I'm still working on my 4x6 album. And I have created this film strip. Now, this die is not a Stamping Up die. It is a die from another company that I purchased a while back, and I decided to use it because these are photos of Joe and I at different stages while we've been together. So that's what that is. So I've already done that. Each of these photos are about 2.5 centimeters square. I just laid them onto a strip 2.5, which happens to be that width before the holes down the sides. So that fitted in there perfectly. The papers I am using, the beautiful Ordinary Life papers, which are these ones here. These colours I love this paper. I just haven't had much of a chance to use a lot of it. So I've brought that in and I'm using that. So I've cut some pieces already up. I've already flagged some of my ends using this old punch here to give me the flagged end there on my strips. So I have got 3 strips there. I'm still yet to ink around all of those. I have pulled out, just so you know what I've got. I don't know, I think this may be already gone. This is the Floral Flight Accents. I think that's now not available. They sold out pretty quick. So I've got some of those. I've also done a little bit of die cutting to prep from the Extraordinary Life stamps and dies, and I've die cut some of these elements here. Whether I'm going to use them or not, I don't know. I've pulled out this from my stash because I like the words better together, but I just don't think it's going to really work. I've flagged the ends of that and it's quite big, so I don't know yet whether I'm going to use that. The other thing I've got is I've used those letters from the Luxe alphabet, number, and dies foils, because these are fantastic just to use on their own, let alone with the gold foil. And as you saw before, I've cut them out, and I've pulled this sentiment, the best memories are created with, from another old stamp set, which is Our Story. So these are really great ones, stamp sets that I have sort of put aside because I want to use them for my scrapbooking. Yeah, I thought it was. I've had it for a while, and I've been wanting to use it, so it was really good to pull it out. I know there is a demonstrator in America, and she makes her own using on her Cricut, and I just sort of haven't. I don't have the Cricut. I have the Silhouette, and I just thought, no, I've got the die. Let's use the die. I'm not going to play trying to create it. And I'm also using the little camera here on the Capturing Smiles. So that's what I have already die cut. I have also pulled out the bordered in beauty dies and stamps, and I've got those to one side just in case. I have got my, now this is in a white stamp case, but it is the Tuxedo black ink I've put in there. I've just got a blank white one, and then filled it with Memento ink because I get the really nice solid image in that one. And I've got the pretty peacock to go around all my edges. I've got myself a dauber. There's all my bits and pieces that I've already pre-cut and pulled out, as you have seen. And I think that's it. Oh, the other thing I have pulled out too, if I can't get my title to work, now these are again not Stampin' Up products, but I've pulled out these out of my stash, which I've had for a while, and they've got some really great sentiments in there. So I thought, well, if worst comes to worst, I'll pull something out of that. So these are photos, as I said before, that I've taken throughout Joe's and my life together. This one here was around about in the early 1990s. This one here was probably Patrick was about 6 or 7 years old, so 2008, 2007. That one there was about 3 years ago, and this one here was early this year. So yeah, just this page is all about our life together and how together we work. So and I thought if I use this one here, I do the best memories I created with, and I've got the word love there, but I thought I might be able to make the word love with these letters. So that's my plan. But things always change, especially with me. So what I want to start off with first is just inking around some of these edges. So let's just do that quickly. I was hoping to have this done before we went live. I could edge around these in black because there's a lot of black in this, but because there is so much black, I really didn't want to go any more. These colours are great, but they are muted. Well, they're sort of a mixture of brights and muted, so I sort of felt it was getting a little bit lost and just needed the edges to be inked. So we'll do that. Now, these strips here are roughly 7 to 7.5 inches in length. So just to give you a bit of an idea. So we're just going to very quickly just go around these edges. I know my pretty peacock ink is getting a little bit dry, so it does need to be re-inked. So I'm just sort of picking up a bit there. So I hope you've all got a lovely weekend planned. One of my sons rang last night, and he has made our weekend because we don't get to see much of our two sons that live in Sydney. And he's coming to visit. Mind you, I think he mainly wanted to bed for the night, but anyway, that's fine. He's coming for dinner, and that's exciting. So Joe's gone and doing the shopping while I'm doing this. So then this afternoon I can put on a roast, but I'm really looking forward to having him here because we've been bugging him for a while to come and visit. I don't know what it is with boys. If you've got boys, tell me, do they get better? But out of all four of my boys, I've got one that usually visits us regularly, and he now lives in England, so we won't be seeing him for a while. But girls tend to, I think, they tend to cling to their parents and visit their, well, I know I did when I was a kid and visited my parents lots of times, even though I lived in Sydney and they lived out in the Riverina. But getting boys to come and visit, and one of my boys told me the other day that they're grown men now and they've got their own lives to live, which is very true. And I think that was sort of saying, we don't have time to come and visit you anymore. Okay. You're loving my album? That's good. I'm glad you are. It's something I've been thinking about doing for a long time, and I've started it in different ways throughout the years and then thrown it away or whatever. But this time I've got a purpose for doing it, to show you guys. And at least you're learning a little bit about me and why I do things the way I do and the way I craft. But scrapbooking was my first love many years ago, especially when my boys were little. I scrapbooked a lot. I even had my own business at one stage doing scrapbooks for other people, which was a lot of fun, but also a big commitment. Those were the days I used to scrapbook until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then still get up, get the kids off to school at 8:30. So, you know, not that spring chicken anymore. Let's just go around this one here. Now I am using Willow White cardstock because I do like the whiteness of this, and I've tried to use Willow White all throughout this album. Now you could just run the edge of your paper through your stamp pads, but with being a foam stamp pad, I'm just a bit concerned if I did that on this, I would actually cut a big hole in it. So I'm sorry you're having to watch me go around this with my dauber. This is probably one of the tedious things once you've worked everything out. Now I've just got one more side to do. Okay, so that is all of that inked up. So let's start laying this down. Now, this piece is cut at my 6 by 8. I am just going to remove that line down the bottom. Just bear with me 1 second. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. No. There we go. I've taken that away. So that gives us a bit more room down the bottom there. So let me just pop that back on chat. Okay, so I want to pop this piece on here. Now I'm sort of not quite sure. I've cut this piece here about 1.5 centimeters, 1.5 inches smaller than the whole lot, but I don't necessarily want to have it in the middle and have it just really square. I tend to, myself personally, I tend to be someone who does do everything symmetrical. If you ever get to see some of my photos, sometimes like when we went to Tasmania, I took all my photos looking through windows and I'd have a tree at the end or something like that. Very, very symmetrical. But I do really love the look of having things offset, but I'm not great at doing things offset. So we're going to try today and we're going to see if we can do this a little bit offset, because I don't want my photos to be sitting straight up and down. I do want to have it a little bit at an angle. So this is going to be all very much trial and error. I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So let's see how we go. So just going to pop a little bit of seal on there, and I'm just hoping this is going to play with me today. I always have a little bit of a fight with my seal, so that's if I was going to do it straight. And there we are. We're going to do that a little bit at an angle. And now these pieces here. So again, I want to have these at an angle, and I thought if I have this piece at an angle, at least I could follow that, but I don't want to have them all going at the same sort of angle. So I'm sort of thinking at the moment, probably something along the lines of that. So I'm quite happy with that. So let's just have a look what that's going to look like on there as well. So nothing is really, see, I'm really pushing myself here. I've gone completely out of my comfort zone. Everything is angled, and they're all different angles and not all the same angle. So let's adhere all this down. Now, sometimes what I do, if I really like the angle I've got that in, I will hold that in place as best as I can, and then pop a bit of seal underneath there, pop a bit underneath there. Whoops, that one there moved. Let's just see if we can adhere this one down here. That one there. So I've still just got to put a little bit of adhesive under this one up here. Might need a bit more there. Okay. So that's my basic layout for that. All a little bit of different angles. And then this one is going to go somewhere there. Now I'm thinking of putting it more up the top. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I'll be putting dimensionals under this. I was thinking of putting dimensionals, but I've already got a little bit of height in the fact that I've got that extra strip there. If I could, if I wanted to, put a bit more on there to make it a little bit higher. But that's going to go sort of probably about there. So let's just do a little bit of a dry fit, or maybe a bit more at an angle. You know what? I'm going to actually just stick this down, because I'm only going to pop a little bit of adhesive in the middle. So I'm just putting it through the center there, and that way I can still slip things out and around. So I want that a little bit towards the top, not necessarily at the same angle as everything else. Let's pop that there. Okay. Oh, I can breathe. I've done it. I've done it. Let's now fill this in. I know it sounds silly, but this is me, okay? This is me, my unsure, uncertain. Am I doing this right? Am I getting this where I want it to be? Okay. Because if you look at a lot of my layouts, they are very, very symmetrical, very much the we have that here and we have this there. So we do still have to have balance. So sort of at the moment, this is my heavy spot down here. So I have to create something up here to fill that in, to create a little bit of balance with that. So I'm sort of thinking, again, we're just playing here. I'm thinking that somewhere like that. I want to add a couple of these. I want to add a couple of these little cameras in there, so that may get tucked in there, maybe even a bit higher up, so just to hide where that leaf and that flower comes out. I don't mind that coming out from underneath that. One of these may go down in here. I've got 3, so I don't know yet where I'm going to use the third one. I do have even a couple of hearts, so we could pop in a heart or 2. I was thinking we could have 1 heart going that way, 1 heart that way, but I'm wondering if there is a smaller heart. Let's just have a quick look. Move this out of the road. Look, yeah, there's one right down the very bottom. Oh, there's one right there. It might be easier to get hold of. Whoops. Jeez. Sometimes these are just... There we go. I don't think I need another big heart the same size. I think I'd like to have that bit on the smaller. So those 2 could go there. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Okay, now, title. I do have other bits and pieces that we can stick in, but whether we will or not is another thing. Like I've got the butterfly, but I think I've got enough of that. I might keep them for something else. This may be too much. I don't know, because there's a lot of black, a lot of heaviness. I think that's going to be too much. I think that's just going to be way too heavy for that. Maybe if it was in a different color or something, it might work. But I think really that's it, because there's not going to be much journaling in this. Well, no journaling really at all, because it's really, the journaling is in the title. Now, I did go through all my dies and everything to see if I had something big enough to cut that, and I don't. They're either too right length, too narrow, too wide. Anyway, let's just have a look and see whether we can use the word love. But again, I just don't know whether I'm going to L-O, left out the V, L-O-V-E. Should it go on the straight? Everything at an angle, it's a bit hard to tell where is the straight. Love. Sort of getting a little bit lost there, isn't it? Okay, I don't know yet how I'm going to do that. Better together. Sort of feel it's going to be, it's so wide that wherever I put it, it doesn't quite fit. I mean, if I put it up there, it's covering someone's head. It's just such a big title. Don't think I want that either. Let's just trim this down and see. I mean, I don't want that heart. That didn't work out, because we have got that word love there, and I can re-stamp it if I wanted to, and you stamp it in the Pretty Peacock. Now, I don't think I want another flagged end, but what we could do is could angle cut that. I want that to stay at a similar angle. So that piece I've just cut off this end here, I've got it as a template. Just got to be very careful where I put it, because we could always bring all of this down a bit and pop that up there. Let's just because that can always go there. I can ink around that a little bit. Do like that. I do like that camera in there. Now let's just have a look at this lettering here again. L-O. Doesn't do anything with me. Hello, Margaret. How are you? Glad you joined in to watch today. We're trying to work out our sentiment, Margaret. So any ideas would be better ideas. I don't think I like that. I think it's just blending in too much with my background. I think it's just, yeah. I'm wondering whether we might use, I did find another stamp set, a close to my heart stamp set that I purchased a while back when someone was decluttering, and I'm just going to trim this out. Now, as I said, I've also got, just going to get rid of that piece on there. Could just just wondering whether I've just made that a little bit too love's now a bit wonky, but anyway. That way we could spread that out a little bit in there. I've also got another camera. We don't need, I mean, it's good to have threes. Let's just ink around this and see whether, and then ink around our little word love. Usually you try to get 3 spots of elements, but I can always pull out, see if there's some more leaves or something to put up the top up there. But I'm also very aware, being a small page, only a 6x8 page, you don't want to over clutter. You don't want to put so much on just for the sake of putting things on. I do like that title being that bit smaller. Now let's just have another look and see if there is something we can pop up here, because that would give us 3, but it only has to be really small. Doesn't have to be anything big, and we can cut things down. Like we do have, let's just have a look. We do have another, there's even a small flower in here somewhere. Let's just have a look, see if I can find it. Again, it's gone right down the bottom. So it's only a really, same as that one, but a lot smaller. A lot of blank space in front of that photo, so that could easily sit on top of that. Maybe even that would do. I don't even know whether. Read this. Just having a look what's in here. I think so we could cut that down even. That might even be easier to cut down. Oops. That just needs to be snipped there. Let's just tidy that up. That might be a bit too much in there. It's a different sort of leaf. Don't want to cut too many of these up, otherwise that's the only one I got. Okay, let's just that could actually become part of that with having those hearts there. Let's just don't want that on. I'm trying to get him at an angle, but I can't. My fingers aren't allowing me. Want that back on a straight. Could possibly just even get away with having one heart there, because then that's giving us the 3. That's keeping the leaf into the same sort of frame as that one. I've just got to work out that. What do you think? Is that going to look good? Tell me, because then I'll just glue everything down. We're going to put a few bits and pieces around it, but I think that's not too bad. I mean, we've got a little bit of white space. We don't need to fill everything in. We've got to keep things into proportion to with our page. So I think I'm liking that. I mean, we could add a little bit of splatter around if we wanted to add splatter, but I mean, that should have thought about that earlier. So I think we might, I probably could find, there is a splatter stamp here. I'm just wondering if there's another one that's very, okay, that's the gears and textures. I'm just wondering, I don't know whether any of these have got splatters. Let's have a, I'm trying to work out now what would have some sort of splatter on it we could use. Just quickly going through my steps here. You know when you want a splatter, you can't find a splatter. Can't find one. There's one. This is another old one, which is Swirled Designs. I've managed to put them the wrong way around. There we go. Let's grab this one. This is more of a spread out splatter. Looks great already, do you reckon, Margaret? So if I add a splatter, it'll be in the Pretty Peacock, but only sort of in a couple of places. I'm not going to go overboard. What do we reckon? Yes or no? I think I'm going to go no, because if I start putting splatter up here, there's not a huge amount of room there, and there's no room up there. And if I do it, I want it to be intentional. That's my new word, intentional. And I'm going to have some stuff I'm going to do on that word and what it means to be intentional. Be intentional about where you're putting things. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that at that. I'm going to take Margaret's advice, and we're going to go with this. So let's start by gluing some of this down. Now I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue here, and the easiest way sometimes I find to glue things is grab myself a strip of cardstock, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the end, and this is going to be treated like a bit like a paintbrush. So what I'm going to do is just lift up these sections here and just dab that in and dab that in. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue in those there. And then the same here. I'm just using that just to dab. Now I'll probably need to put a little bit extra glue onto this because it isn't. So I'm sort of pressing it into that glue and then pressing it down. So I'm just using this as a paintbrush, but this is it's got a few layers there to try to grab hold of. That way I don't need to move anything. I'm going to lift that up because I'm going to pop that onto dimensionals, and I'm going to take that away. Now I'm going to do the same thing with these. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on here. Don't want too much because this is a way of trying to use a lot less. So I'm just going to take that off a little bit. And then this is just going to allow me to pick up the ends and dab it in. Because we want it to be secure, so it's not going to move. But unlike a card, we don't need to have it. I don't want to have it glued down solid, but this will be enough glue to tack all these down. I'm going to do the same thing here, push that in. Same over here, push it into the glue and then glue that down. And because I'm going to pop this over the top, that will also help hold it all down. So I'm just wondering whether this here, I might pop a dimensional on the back of that. Now let me just find some dimensionals here. Hello Sue, how are you? So glad all of you have jumped on today. got my fingernail stuck on that dimensional. So I'm going to pull that out. And I'm just popping that dimensional onto that corner there. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this side here, because I do want it sort of to be slightly angled out. I don't want to put my finger straight into that glue. I've taken the back off that, and I'm just going to very gently lift that up and pop that in. So that dimensional is going to help hold all of that down. I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals onto this as well, and this will also help to hold everything down. Don't know what it is. My fingernails are getting stuck on these dimensionals. I feel like I need to put some embossing buddy powder on the back of them. Maybe I've got a bit of glue or something already on there and it's just catching that little bit more. Now, if you haven't been here and watched me before on my Saturday mornings with my, especially this particular album, this album is all about me. So I'm creating an album about me and my life. And I'm trying to use up products. I'm just trying to get this nice and straight. Don't know whether I should have had that bit further down. Let's see if I can lift that. I'm trying to use up my stash, so I'm trying to use products that I've got rather than buy a lot of new products. So they've got a mixture here of new and old. So we've got that there. We want to put a little bit of glue on there, because that's going to go just there like so. We're going to pop a little bit of glue underneath. Might actually also put a dimension on the back of this one. One there and a little bit of glue there. Okay, we're just going to slip that underneath there, just like that. And then we'll get some mini dimensionals for our word love. But I tend to work by the seat of my pants, so everything I tend to do is on the go. It's just me, unfortunately. And sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, like my card yesterday. Didn't quite work out the way I was hoping, but anyway. So there's love. Now that one's glued down, that's glued down, and we've got the camera to go on this one up here. So we might pop that one on dimensionals as well. I'm going to use the mini ones for this and put one over there, one over there. Pop that onto there. Whoops. Push that down a little bit. It is sitting up a bit high. So that's that so far. So let's move all of this out of the road. Now where's my tray that I put all this stuff into? All underneath. Just so then we don't just scoot this all into here. These are great little trays that I've picked up. I picked them up on Craft Online if you're looking for something like that. It comes in about 5 or 6 and they all stack on top of each other, and they're really great just to put things in while you're working, just to try to keep your desk clean. Now I did pull out some of my thread here because I wouldn't mind putting a nice little bow on this, but let's just have a look. Just adding a bit of white to my layout. Just a little one, but we'll see how we... Just wants to twist on me, so let me just get some of that twist out of that. I'll try again. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now, I'm not quite sure yet whether this is going to look good, so this is just a test. I haven't glued anything in, but I was sort of thinking if I put a bow on it, it could go up underneath there. As long as it doesn't cover up Joe's face. No, I think that's looking a bit funny. Nope, no bow. Now, let's see if we've got some bling. As you know, I'm not a big bling person, but I do have a bucket full, and we do need to use this up. So let's have a look through. I still haven't sorted this out to what is current and what's not current. So see what we've got. Now, I know this paper did come with some. So let's see if I can work out what it came with. Possibly that array of dots, because you've got your different colours in there, and yeah, they're your colours that are in it. But I don't want the yellow. I don't want the well, maybe, I just don't know. Just going to keep telling myself less is more. I think I've got nearly every dot on the sun. Probably not, but you know what? Feels like it. Nope. Nope. I do like the low profile, but they've got, sort of thinking that one. Yeah, they were the dots that came with that, because I've got lots of packets of it. Somehow I've ended up with lots of them. So there's those ones, or these ones here have got just a little bit of glitter in them. I'm thinking this one here. I'm just thinking there. I don't like putting a lot of dots. I like things that are low profile, because if you've got other photos, it can make an impression on the page before and after it. So they're great for cards, don't get me wrong, but I like them when they're sort of low profile. And I'm sort of thinking this one, it's got a little bit in there, but not too much. And I just want to add just a few. Yeah, I think that might be one. I'm going to put them in fairly close. And I'm just going to, I think I'm just going to use the small ones. I don't think I'm going to use the big ones on this. And again, I don't know if these are available or not still. They possibly are. But there, I want to move this one here maybe a little bit closer. Maybe there. So I'm going to have 3 there. I'm going to pop another 3 here. So probably pop one in, whoops, one into there. 1, 2. I might pop another one just about there. There's another group of 3. And this one here has to have at least 1 there. Maybe you might get 2 down there. 2. 3. Okay. Yay, all done. So I'm really pleased now with the way that's turned out, and I've really gone out of my comfort zone by having everything on an angle. I go through Pinterest. I look at Pinterest for ideas all the time, and everything is so symmetrical. They're either on lines, in squares, you know, 1 in the center, 2 on the sides, whatever it is. But I'm always drawn to the ones that are a little bit more of an angle, but I don't know whether it scares me. But yeah, I'm always very uncertain when I do things at an angle. But gee, you know what? I love it when I do it. I think it looks it's great. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really stoked. So thank you very much for joining me. Now, as I said, some of these products are still available, like your designer series paper, which is the Beautiful Ordinary Life. The stamps and the dies, which are also, as far as I know, these are all still available. You've got Capturing Smiles, which should be still available. You have got, what else have I used out of this? I have used the Extraordinary Life dies there with the, did I use any of that? No, I ended up not using any of that. So I've used this because that's where I got my little camera from. I've used my paper, and everything else was out of my stash because these black elements here are no longer available because they did come out with this paper. They were part of that sweet collection. So it's ended up that really the only things that are current, my paper and the Capturing Smiles, I think should be still current. And all of those you can purchase if you're wanting to get them from my online store at michele.jutrisa.stampingup.net. Otherwise, that is it. So that's today's layout. So my album is actually getting very, very close to being completed. I'm just reaching for it, so that's why I'm reaching across. So here's my album. So this is it so far. So we've got, this is my story, and of course this paper is paper out of my stash that we've had from a couple of years ago. The alphabet I used here, I think it's been put into the last chance. These papers here are still current, but these ones here aren't. And this page here, I was thinking of putting there. It can go there. Okay, so that's just my album about me. It's where I live. And then this one here is my husband and I. So it's going to go right into that spot there. So that's another page completed. As you can see, I'm planning to do something on my everyday life. So I'll probably take some photos of my craft room and my sewing room because that's what I do every day. And then I'm starting off in the first chapter. And as you can see, this is some deleted pieces. I've still got to find another photo to go in there. So I've got this one to do yet. And we did these ones earlier in the piece. Still got to find some maybe more kids photos to go in there. Or holiday photos. These are some of my holiday photos that I had. These ones I'm not quite sure I'm doing yet. This is my first job. Don't know what I've got underneath there. Got some bits and pieces. So that's my first job. Oh, that's my photos. That might go there. We might do this one next. Not quite sure whether I'm going to do these ones. But over the years, I've been involved in scouting and different things, but at different times in my life, I've had to dress up. And the That's what this photo here was, a house party we had with my flatmates, and we got dressed up. These ones were a church group, and here I am as a clown. And I've got a whole stack of photos of me dressed up with scouting as well, when I was in Scouts as a clown and all sorts of different things. There's the page we did last week, so I've still yet to do my journaling to pop in there. And I've still got a few more bits and pieces to do in here as well, and a few things to finish up. So, but it is getting done. It is getting full. And I tell you what, you don't realise until you do something like this how much. I mean, that's only a portion of my life, and how much of my life I have done all sorts of different things. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you can join me again next Saturday. I hope you have a lovely weekend. And just remember, grab your stash, start working through it, create things like this. If you're not a scrapbooker, then create cards, but use your stash up. It's not until you can use it that you can, I suppose, buy stuff with confidence, that you're not just hoarding your shed or hoarding your room, which is what I tend to do, and what a lot of other people tend to do. Now, just a bit of a tidbit. I have got last weekend I went away for a day of crafting with some friends. While I was away, I created a fun little project, and I still have to finish it off. I did share a photo with it on my Facebook page. I have decided I'm not going to share any more of that particular photo. It is a card, but it's a dimensional type card. And the products I used for it were A Little Christmas, and that's a sweet collection that will be available coming September. So towards the end of September, I'm going to be doing a paid class on creating this project that I've made. I will have more details, but please, if you're thinking about doing something like a class type of thing, it will be a paid class. It will be online, but more details are coming. I just wanted to let you know that I'm not sharing any more photos of that particular project, because I do want to create a class for everybody that would like to attend. So please keep your eye open for that. And hopefully we'll have that ready soon, and that will be open to anybody, no matter what country you're in. So, because it's not going to be a product-based class. Well, we're using product for a couple of different suites or collections from Stamping Up, but I'll be only charging for the cost of me doing the class and the tutorial. I won't be you have to purchase your own products for it. So there's be no kits or anything. So that means it's open to anybody. So if you're watching me from Australia or watching me from overseas, you can take part in it. I'm going to go before I keep waffling. And I do have a bed to go and make up for my son for when he comes to stay tonight, and to plan dinner for him as well. So have a wonderful, joyful weekend. Stay safe, everybody. And I know here in the Southern Highlands, as I look out my craft window, it is beautiful and blue out there. So I'm going to go and take 5 minutes and go and sit in the sun and enjoy some of that before we have another cold snap here. So thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Thank you for joining us for the first time, Margaret. It was great to see you here. Bye for now. Oh, and please like and share. Give me a thumbs up, like my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, whatever you're watching this on, and share it with others. That really will help me in my business. Thanks very much. Bye.